I'm super excited to be doing this. My name is Victoria, and I'm introducing the Blockchain African show coming up on CoinNews Extra every Monday, 1:30 to 2 o'clock. The show is going to be so packed, educational, ideas. We'll be bringing on board highly knowledgeable people in the industry with years of experience. We'll talk about innovations, things happening, and so much more. Trust me, this is definitely worth watching. On your lunch break every Monday. So yeah, see you on Monday. I'm super excited and I can't wait to get started. Thank you so much for watching and I really look forward to seeing you. Take care.
Hello, everybody, and we are live. Trust me, I don't know how put together I look or not so put together, but this is the first time I'll be hosting a live show that I'm not an invitee, and I don't know how this works, but I promise you, this is going to be a very impactful show. It's going to be so enlightening, very educative. So just cut me some slack. I really had to lay that out. So now let's get to introduction. Then I'll tell you a bit about the show. Then we'll move on really into what today is all about. So a little bit of intro. My name is Victoria. I'm a blockchain writer and a software developer. I've written for so many innovations in the space, from DeFi to NFTs to metaverse, and even more streamlined industry innovation. So to an extent, I kind of know what I'm talking about. I've read so much in the space, and I'm really so excited to be doing this because not only will I get to share my knowledge with a lot of people out there, talk about innovation, talk about how we can leverage on the knowledge of blockchain technology. And also, I'm also going to be learning so much from the people I'm going to be bringing on board. The show is called Blockchain African Show. And in this space, we'll be talking a whole lot about the blockchain technology, the impact, the potential, and so much about the space in general. We'll be bringing, like I said before, really insightful, really knowledgeable people, debates about things, innovation, and we'll also be talking a lot about you and how you can leverage on the technology. Well, you must also keep in mind that the show is for everybody, from the average person out there who has never heard about blockchain technology to highly knowledgeable people. There is definitely something for everybody. So yeah, I think that was a little bit of intro. And yeah, so I think that's much it. So before we really dive into the things we'll be talking about throughout the show, today we'll really be talking about blockchain technology itself. And from other weeks, we may bring other guests on board, but this is an introductory episode. So it's majorly going to be me talking to you, getting acquainted with myself and with the technology itself. So let's move on to talk about blockchain technology. So if they ask what is blockchain technology, I always define blockchain technology as a decentralized distributed digital ledger that records transaction in a secure and transparent manner. Just that simple, because it's very important to keep in mind that, when you hear blockchain, it's simply a block of chain. And each block in the chain actually keeps record of these transactions that are verified by a network of nodes. When this network of nodes we're talking about is not maybe just anything. It's actually a network of computers that are controlled by individuals and organizations generally. So this network of nodes, once this information or transaction is verified, then it is automatically added to the chain. And once it's added to the chain, it becomes tamper-proof and immutable. That's as cool as that sounds. That's how cool blockchain is. So that means blockchain technology has its strength in decentralization. So it's able to offer so much security. It's very easy to make it even more understandable. You know, when we talk of decentralization, we are talking of the fact that no central body controls the blockchain itself. I know when we go deeper into talks, we can talk about different types of blockchain where we can talk about decentralized one, but in the core of the blockchain structure itself, prides on decentralization. You know, when you look at most of the Web2 giants we have currently, the system models what centralization is all about, how the power is, concentrated within just a very limited circle. But when you talk of decentralization, we talk of decentralized structure of power. That's why we have so many amazing use cases. You know, we have DAOs, so many of these things are words you are going to really get accustomed to because we are going to be breaking down the concepts on this show. So now that you, to an extent, understand what blockchain is, let me make an analogy for you to help you understand better. So because blockchain is a digital ledger, I'm going to use a physical ledger example. So almost every structure has, let's say, financial system has a physical ledger that is maybe updated, let's say, by a bookkeeper or the storekeeper or something of that nature. So the storekeeper comes on board, um, takes the data, imputes it, makes sure the record is up to date. Assume he wakes up one day and in a very good mood to commit fraud, decides to backdate the data, change the information, update it. To be honest, this is definitely something you would have had at some point because we've heard of people changing documents, backdating their promotion, backdating. Those are things that can happen in a centralized system. In the case of a blockchain, when we talk of a digital ledger, I mentioned node of computers, network of nodes, which are basically computers controlled by several people. So now if you try to change an information in a digital ledger, it's so hard to get everybody to agree with you at the same time because the information has to be verified by all these nodes before it can be added to the chain. And it's also important to understand that every single block has something we call the cryptographic hash of the previous block. So because it has the cryptographic, that means it basically has what was in the previous block. So how do you change it and it tallies? So it's very difficult to alter, almost impossible. That's why we said it's immutable. And so imagine being able to work with a technology that offers all these benefits. This is just a tip of the iceberg, like the things I just mentioned. But the points I'm trying to create is to help you understand the core concept of blockchain technology itself. Because the truth is, almost with anything in this world, from mathematics to English, when you understand the core concepts, it's very easy for you to do more complex things with innovation itself. When you look at the blockchain technology, when you understand how it works, when you understand the concept of how to transfer, when you understand how it protects, when you understand, oh, this is what it does, this is how it works, then you can think of, oh, so how do I incorporate this innovation into my own personal career or into my own business? So this show is going to be teaching you how to leverage on the potentials of blockchain technology from your business down the street to the enterprise you're building, whatever it is. You can leverage on the power of blockchain technology to make something amazing out of it. So the most important thing first is understanding how does it work. And if you really take time to listen to the things I just told you, take it as simple as I've said it, check resources more, and come on this show every Monday. You definitely in no time you'll be up to date. So now you may wonder, so what are the things I can even do with blockchain? I think if you're watching this, chances are you've heard of cryptocurrency at some point because cryptocurrency is one of the most popular use case of blockchain technology. It's not even it's the most popular and also the first use case of blockchain technology. Cryptocurrency kind of exposes us to what is possible. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin primarily started all of this. I know from Bitcoin we have Ethereum, and Ethereum, because with Ethereum now, people became even more exposed to the concept of smart contracts. What is smart contract? Smart contract is basically agreement, digital agreement. But this time around, unlike the way, let's say, a lottery house will tell you, oh, come, for every time you pick a number 5, you win this. You and I know that the chances of you winning that thing is so slim. That is something that is impossible on the blockchain because of smart contracts. Basically, the moment you enter that 5, the system will do what it has to do. So the trust decentralization brings is nothing compared to almost anything. It brings so much structure, and people can tend to like trust these businesses even more. So there are so many ways you can incorporate blockchain into different walks of life. We have supply management, we have healthcare, we have finance, because I mentioned cryptocurrency. That's why you are seeing so many amazing innovations coming out. I remember, I think, I traveled recently and I was talking to a friend, and she was talking about how she was looking at making a photography business into NFTs. And that's something people are doing already. So obviously she's a physical photographer. They get the physical artwork, they get the digital artwork. I know we talk extensively about it. And that's something, understanding the what's it called, the industry, the technology itself helps you to think outside the box. You can see sometimes you go on the news, you see, oh, this coffee shop created their own NFT such that if you own the NFT, you get discount. There are so many amazing things to understanding the concept itself. But it all starts with understanding blockchain technology and how you can use it, how you can leverage on it, and how you can build with it. And sometimes you may not even be looking to, own a business. It may be to start a career. Not everybody wants to, run a business in this way. Maybe to start a career. So understanding the technology, understanding what people can do with it, also helps you to build an outstanding career in the same space because you have to understand the technology you're working with. Like it's so important. So you have to keep in mind the blockchain technology. One of the most important key is decentralization, which is key to every single thing we talk about. Because from immutability to security, decentralization gives this power to make these things possible. I know a lot of times people ask, oh, so if is decentralization, everybody has access to this, what of privacy? Which is very key question. So in terms of privacy, it's very difficult for you to know who is who because most of these things are represented by numbers. Someone told me, oh, I sent you this morning. I think that was even last week. I had a case like that. And what I did was I was able to track the finances itself and see what the person says. I could see, oh, it went from this to this. And I could say, oh, it actually came to me. So same goes because that's the level of trust. Because I could have, it was a traditional banking system. The person sent me their debit alert. I'm like, oh, this guy's probably lying. Did he send the money? Did he not? Did she send the money? Did she not? So the trust is not fully there. But in terms of blockchain, I was able to check the transaction itself, saw when it was transferred, saw when it got into, and said, oh, Binance has changed all the old addresses. It's a new one. So that's what caused this. But that level of trust only comes because I myself could see the transaction on the chain. So apart from trust, there are so many, apart from finances, there are so many aspects you can leverage on this, by understanding the key concepts of the technology itself. So this show today may not be as lengthy as all the other weeks are going to be, because it's going to be a 30-minute show. But today's show is just an introductory show to really get you to understand the basics. Because when we start talking about how to like incorporate these things, how Africa, okay, like look at our electoral processes. Most of the chaos in like our electoral system is due to lack of trust. If everybody believes in what they can see, or like they know that there's really no centralized body manipulating shit, everybody will kind of like be more open to the idea of trusting the system. That's some of the things blockchain gives. Trust for the process. You see a lot of times people try to say, oh, we didn't use this in our product, we don't ship from here. Those are supply issues that you can see the supply chain is built on blockchain. There's so many things we'll be discussing because it's so key for us to understand how to really leverage on this technology. We have to understand the technology itself. So that is the whole point of like this introductory episode, to help me to understand what is blockchain, why blockchain, what is the craze all about? Why is everybody talking? Because even in the past, this is actually so true. I remember I tell people every time I talk about how I got started in blockchain, I tell people that the only thing I knew about blockchain was Bitcoin is up, Bitcoin is down, and everybody does not know about it. Because it just seems that's all it's all about. So it's very easy to think blockchain is only about cryptocurrency, is only about NFTs, and my God, about the metaverse. So it's so easy to think the popular things you've heard about is what blockchain is all about. But it's way more than that. So much more. Is way more than that. But how do you understand these things? Or how do you know how to leverage on it if you don't understand the concept itself? And the best way to know, rather than even sometimes, reading books, is actually just watching the shows and listening to people talk about it. Hear people who have had experience in the space, how they've leveraged on this, how they're building this. Just listen to how they talk, listen to what they say, because I'm sure if you've listened to me today, you can almost stand anywhere and talk about what blockchain is, even without the jargons, just in the simple form. So it's very important to understand the concept and think of ways to leverage on it. There's so many. Obviously, okay, even if you look at in terms of finance, I always say like blockchain technology has changed the face of money forever. From the comfort of your house, you can send money to someone in Europe, in Asia, in split seconds. How crazy is that? So growing up, my sister schooled in Europe, and I remember the process of having to send her money. And the bank in Nigeria would take their share, the bank there would take their share, and it was a whole lot of craziness. Like, are you working for these people? But from the comfort of your home, with no stress, with no breaking of the bank, look at how blockchain just makes transaction seamless globally. Without breaking a sweat, you can send money to anybody. And a lot of time people think, oh, blockchain technology is just money. Okay, look at when we talk about even the metaverse. Look at the concept of the metaverse itself. It's such a beautiful concept because it goes beyond relating. Okay, I'm here in my house. You can watch me. You can talk to me. So imagine if this show was in the metaverse, and rather than me being here, it's an immersive space where you could even shake me, sit beside me, talk to me. Obviously, it's still virtual, but it's more immersive. It feels more real. So the concept of thinking, oh, the online life is not as real, is so not true. It's so far from being true. And it's so important to understand that. Understanding the key concept around these structures or around this technology allows you to be able to leverage on it. So I was reading a book yesterday and it says with smart contract, I think I already made mention of what smart contract is. Like doing the right thing is not by choice, it's infrastructural. So like people kind of get to like trust the system because almost any business, what you want to build, what's it called, your business around is trust. If you can leverage on the fact that this is what I'm doing, look at most of these health products. Some of them are trying to tell you our product are sourced from this, are sourced from that. But if you, as an end product, if you, as an end product, can actually check what your product is coming from, where it's coming from, and the process it has passed through. Trust me, you are comfortable. Like you can rest assured that, oh, these people are actually not lying. Why? Because you can see it. So blockchain allows you to really bring the like people that naturally feel like they're outside of the program into the system to be more inclusive. When we talk, okay, for example, look at GameFi. GameFi, a lot of GameFi platform nowadays is even evolving. In the beginning, a lot of people say, oh, GameFi platform tend to sacrifice the fun in playing games with financial benefits. But I don't really think that's the case anymore. Like there are platforms doing beautiful things in the space, rewarding people for their participation. Because at the end of the day, I know personally friends who spend a ton of money playing games, buying in-game assets. In-game assets they can't transfer, in-game assets are genuinely worthless. But look at what blockchain is doing. Now, when you buy an in-game assets are being sold as NFTs. NFTs that sometimes they can even transfer between chains. How amazing is that? So people can own stuff and actually claim ownership of them. Because why pay so much money, physical money, actual fiat for a game asset, and in the game can just take it away from you anytime. Or if the game gets deleted or if your character gets removed, that's all. Nobody owes you an explanation. Those things are things blockchain technology solves. Because when you see on GameFi platforms, when you buy assets, they are NFTs. I know I've mentioned NFTs a lot. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. They are basically digital proof of ownership. So, for example, now look at properties. If you are a Nigerian, you know the madness that comes with a lot of these land deeds, properties. Or imagine if you, as a person, can see where the journey the land you're buying has gone through. This is where it started from, this is who it was sold to. You can tell. Because being on a blockchain with what's it called? Nodes verifying each transaction, it also stops people from being able to sell the same thing to different people. But they can't. That's one of the key concepts because people are kind of like, oh, so if I sold to this person, it's not with you anymore. And like the next person can also tell the process, the things they are buying has gone through. They can see it. That level of transparency. If properties can also like be digitally owned, apart from the physical paper they get, how priceless is that? So, and other than even because you can say, oh, but they type documents they give to them is different. Because even a typed document can be reversed, can be changed. But this is written in codes that cannot be reversed. I can't wake up the next day and say, I know I gave you 2 plots, but it was 1.5 I wrote. And maybe switch some documents. I can't. Nobody can. I know you say, oh, but systems get hacked, this and there are so many things we'll be talking about. We can't finish it in one day. All these things will be touching them. But at the core of the technology itself, it gives you security. So that security you get from blockchain technology, it's powerful. Because the features itself, because after the show, take some time to actually read on some of these things I'm making mention of. Because it's so important to understand the concept. I keep saying that, and I've said it so much today, because it's actually that important. Because the things we'll be talking about, I need you to be able to flow with me. I need you to be able to understand, oh, so this is why they can do this is why they can do that. So yes, I need you to be able to drop questions that are like thought provoking that would be answering. So it's all in all, this show is going to be so educative. It's going to be very enlightening. There's so much coming up for you. We'll talk about different blockchain innovations. We'll talk about different African startups doing amazing stuff. We'll talk about how they are doing them, what some of them are doing wrongly, how we think they can really carry along the market. Because blockchain is for everybody. Blockchain is not for people who are tech inclined. Blockchain is not for people who understand the basis of technology. Blockchain is for the market woman as much as it's for the young lad in school. But how do they know this if innovations do not really put these people into the bracket? A lot of people would use a random POS on the streets without caring what technology the POS is built on. So the ball lies in our court to understand how can I build my business and leverage on the technology. Because there are so many things in Africa right now. I can't speak for other parts of the world because I'm more concerned about my own part of the world. There's so many things in Africa that blockchain technology can make so different. Electoral process, for example, I made mention of that. So, electoral process, land, healthcare management, agricultural supply chain, payments. As much as we have so many fintech, payment is still a major thing. That still needs to be worked on in Africa. A while back, see how crazy the problem with what's it called with cash policies in Nigeria. The cash policy affected even the major banks. They could not withstand the heat of not having cash around. How, like in a system as exposed as we should be, the number of banks we have, the number of major banks we have, the number of fintechs we have, we still would feel the brunt of a no cash system. So that shows that there's still so much to be done. Even in terms of what's it called? In terms of currency, in terms of incorporating cryptocurrency into people's daily what's it called? Daily transaction. Now there are stores you can buy stuff from in crypto. My gadget guy collects crypto for anything. And there are more businesses like that by the day. So how can your business leverage on this? Those are things we'll be covering on the show. It's going to be very insightful. I can promise you of that. It's going to be very educative. And yeah, and then I'm also going to get better doing this. So yeah, I think today I'm just going to round things up from here. And by next week, Monday, we'll be having our first guest on board. We'll be talking about businesses. We'll be talking about some amazing side of businesses you really do not want to miss. So it's still going to be the same time, 1:30 to 2 every Monday. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on your notification. Apart from this show, there are also other amazing shows on the channel every single day. They are very educative. There are news that keep you updated on what is happening, what keep you what's it called updated on industry news. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you are active. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You can connect to me on LinkedIn and on Twitter, that blockchain girl on LinkedIn, Appear Victoria. And if you have any other question about this episode, you can drop your question with Coin News Extra, or you can send your question to me. And in the next episode, we'll make sure to answer all your questions. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. See you next week. Bye.